Hey, what's going on, G-Ballers? Today I have a new knife here to share with you, coming in from OKnife. If this is your first time stopping by, welcome to G-Ball Vision. Let me know down in the comments what you're carrying in your pockets today. This is going to be a brand new release for OKnife. It is actually going up on Kickstarter August 19th. That'll be the super early bird special, and I'll have more information here later on in the video and all of the information you need down in the description of this video. This is going to be called the AIon here. You get some extra hardware. We get our knife here and extra paperwork and a microfiber cloth there in the bottom. So the AIon here, this is an O-stop hell design here, and from what I gather, it is supposed to be the counterpart to the Arkfeld flashlight, which we can take a look at that here in a moment. We have a Nitro V drop point blade here, and these are going to have a matte DLC finish. Yes, a real DLC finish. It is not a satin or polished. It is a matte DLC. And we are looking at 59 to 61 HRC for the Nitro V in this case. They also have versions with M390 and titanium, M390 and zirconium. Now, this one is sporting their new OAL, their O aluminum, and it is supposed to be tougher, stronger, more wear resistant than standard aluminum. I don't have much experience with the OAL. If you do, let me know down in the comments what you think of the new OAL. Now, the pricing for the early bird or super early bird is going to be a lot different than the final retail price. For on the Kickstarter super early bird, this version is going to come in around $77, $78. The M390 in titanium will be about $162, and then the M390 and the Zerk Damascus version is going to be up about $450. So you have three different tiers for the super early bird, and then after 3 days, the pricing will change to early bird, and then I think at some point it eventually goes to the full retail price. That's probably after the Kickstarter, I'm going to guess. But it looks like they're knocking a nice chunk of change off of these for the super early bird special here. So O-Stop Hell has been a busy fella here in 2025 and in 2024 for that matter. We are perfectly centered up there, and our deployment method is going to be this little minimal rear flipper tab here, and that seems to work very well, especially with that kind of combination push button light switch here. It also feels like it's a good size. Let's take a look at this and see what we're looking at in regards to the size here. So we're looking at about 3.5 inches of cutting edge, just shy of 3.5. We'll call it like 3.48, and we'll call it like 3.6 of total blade. And down there to the butt end of the knife, we are at 8 1/8. So this is a good size. We'll bring out a couple of comparison knives here with the Kaiser Drop Bear and the Benchmade Bug Out. And you'll see the AIon here. It's going to be quite a bit bigger on both ends. And you can see here that we actually have a hidden pivot and 4 torques on the show side. And then same on the back side here, we have 4 torques on that side. That is an interesting looking aesthetic there. And 2 more for you. We got the Vastid Raccoon up top here and the Kaiser Militao on the bottom. The AIon, it's going to be bigger than the Raccoon, and it's going to be a little bit longer than the Militao. Sadly, I'm not really a part of the Olight flashlight scene. I don't really get in on any of that stuff. But I did buy an Arkfeld quite a while ago at this point. I think this might be the original one maybe, or the one after the original. but this is intended to go hand in hand with the arc felt, especially if you have one of the new OAL versions. It will match up very nicely and kind of make the ultimate duo, if you will, of flashlight and knife. But that is the arc felt there, just in case you are not familiar. That is an Olight product. Now, Olight and OKnife have kind of separated in essence. They're still under the same company, but they have branched off into their own entities. So a little bit different than what we once knew. Now, as far as the pocket clip goes here, this is going to be reversible, so righties and lefties will be able to carry this as you please. You can unscrew that there and switch it over to the other side. And speaking of the pocket clip, let's see what it looks like in the pocket. We'll grab our 50 ways baked in Hank here and give this thing a look-see here. That is a titanium nitride coating there on the pocket clip. I could do without the OKnife there on the clip. My personal preference, of course. But that is going to carry pretty deep in the pocket. You'll have just a tiny, tiny bit there poking out. But seemingly here, that clip seems like it'll work pretty good. It has good spring, and the lip comes up a little high for my preference. But I think that'll work. You know, that'll help get this over thicker seams, and there seems to be plenty of clearance under there. I prefer them to kind of raise up and then die off instantly, where this one kind of continues up and then continues over. You know, everyone's a little different in what they prefer. I do like how they did this with the back here. The scales both fold over and really close that gap behind or on the spine of the knife here, and that really is going to make this much more comfortable in the hand than if there was a wider gap here. So I do like how that is done there. That is a great idea. At this point, could have just mated them up and really close that gap completely, but that is a nice touch on a sub $100 knife. Now, since we are dealing with aluminum, this should have a fairly lightweightness to it. We like to guess the weight here on the channel of these new knives, and I invite you to play along. Put your guess down in the comments. What do you think this knife weighs? We have 8 inches or just over 8 inches overall, about 3.5 inches of blade, aluminum handles here, and we do have recessed steel liners in there. So but it feels like it has a little heft to it. Let's say 3.6. Oh, doing me dirty, man. 96 grams and 3.4 ounces. So, you know, ratio people will be happy about that. And I have to say, the action on this, as far as the flipper tab is concerned, that is spot on. Nice and snappy. Exactly what you would expect. Exactly what you would want out of a flipper only. It's got a very good snappy detent, and for that kind of combo push button light switch, that really fires out of there. And then the closing action, we are looking at bearings around the pivot. This will break in and get even smoother, but you can see there the action is no slouch, even with that thinner, lighter blade, which is exactly what we're going to take a look at here. Let's get a thickness on our handle first. And it's got a nice thickness, 0.51 there on our handle thickness. We got 117 thousandths for our blade stock. And our behind the edge, roughly, is going to come in there at a thick 26 thousandths behind the edge there in that particular spot with that particular hold. But let's see how the AIon cuts out of the box. And for that, we'll use our standard catalog paper here. A blade like this going to be great for poking and piercing. Drop points are very versatile blade shapes, as we have said many times in the past. And Nitro V is a good steal in this price range. Some people love Nitro V, some people hate it. I used to not be the biggest fan of Nitro V several years back, but I have grown to really like Nitro V in certain instances, depending on who's doing it and so on. I believe Kaiser is still doing the OEM work for OKnife, so that is a good thing. You're going to be getting a good product. Let's go ahead and we'll get into this knife here a little bit more. Check our torques here, and they went with T6 on the body screws here. That was an interesting call there. So it looks, no, they went T8 on the pocket clip here, and everything else is going to be T6. Interesting call there. Not sure why they would go with body screws, you know, have a hidden pivot and go with body screws that are T6. Probably should have went with T8 all the way around, but with, you know, a good quality bit and driver, a good quality T6 bit that is, and driver, you're going to be just fine. We do have good access there to the liner as well, and that is chamfered off nicely. That is breaking in as we continue kind of flicking this knife. Our lockup is pretty early there, about 30% or less. We are perfectly centered up there, and this seems, you know, I like this knife. It's not like reinventing the wheel or anything, and as far as, you know, it matching up with the arc felt here, even the OAL version, you know, it's just going to be this color. I don't think much has changed on the outside of the newer flashlights. Maybe a little tiny bit has changed. And I would say they do go together very well. And, you know, the titanium and the Zerk version, they'll probably be even more flashy, even better built, you know, in essence. We're going to go ahead and introduce the AIon here to the spine whacker and see how this thing holds up to a little adversity. You know, this is cool. It's like a special edition type of thing, or I don't know if it's a special edition, but kind of I guess a special edition would be how it would kind of be placed, if you will. We have a good feeling lockup there. Up and down, there's nothing. Side to side, there's nothing. We're going to give this a couple of light taps out towards the tip, and we'll go from there. Just to get us going. Close it, check it, go to the middle. Give it a couple of good taps there. Close it and check it. Very good. Very good. It sounds good. It feels good. We'll run this through a couple of checks here. Make sure everything is the way that it was. Perfectly centered. Action has not changed. Lockup is still the same. Everything feels good. Good solid build. And like I said, if Kaiser is the ones who are responsible for the OEM work here, you're going to be getting a very, very good product. And these base versions that are going to come in under 80, I think it was 77, 78 bucks for the super early bird, which if you're going to get this knife, that's when I would do it. You know what I mean? At that super early bird price. Because I think after that's over, now, if we're going to see full retail price, probably not. But I think full retail on this version here is like $120. I would not pay that for this knife here. That's just, I wouldn't. There's so many other knives out there that are, you know, around that price point that I just, you know, I couldn't see spending $120 on this. Even with the special OAL or whatever. But at 78, you know, I'm a little more inclined to say, you know, if you really like OKnife, Olight, Arkfeld, and all that sort of thing, then this will be right up your alley. And for the people who really are in love with Olight, OKnife, and really like the special editions that they do and so on, then they are going to be offering that with the M390 in titanium, the M390 and the Zerk. I will have the Kickstarter link down in the description and in the pinned comment for all those knives. You can head over there and check it out, and all the information will be down in the description. Let me know, is this something you could see adding to your rotation or your collection? I look forward to hearing your thoughts and opinions on the AIon here. Don't forget to share this video and hit the thumbs up. Both those things tremendously help these videos get out there to more people, and that is a great thing. If you're new to the channel and you enjoy knife and EDC content, you're in the right place. Make sure you subscribe because I release videos like this every single day. I'd love to have you here. Make sure you ring that bell so you're notified whenever I release new videos. I'm going to put a couple of them up on your screen right now. Go check out one of those. Have yourself an awesome day. Thank you all again for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.